Political conflict between Russia and Ukraine has not ended, and efforts to bring the two countries together to stop the conflict are still ongoing. In the studio, I have with me Peter Zalmayev, a Ukrainian-American political expert and TV host who is on a worldwide mission. Mr. Zalmayev, welcome to Namibia and also to Namibia Connect.
Thank you.
Just to start off, you have been in Namibia and also other countries as part of your mission, and now you are in Namibia. Talk to us about that and also about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a Ukrainian-American. I was born and raised in Ukraine, and I went to study in the U.S. and came back to Ukraine in 2016, like 2 years after Russia's first kind of aggression against Ukraine. So just to remind you, the war's been going on for at least 11 years in different phases, obviously. And so I embarked in last September, I embarked on a major, like 40-country mission to talk about the war. To talk about why it is important and why it is relevant for all parts of the world, not just Europe or Eastern Europe or Asia, but in remote places like South Pacific, remote from us, Australia, New Zealand, and finally here. I started off in South Africa, and I'm making my way slowly through the African continent all the way, hopefully, to Ethiopia, meeting with colleague journalists, civil society activists, and media such as yourself to talk about the war, what it feels like to live in Ukraine for the last 3 years under constant, air raid sirens and constant bombardments and constant just this living on the edge of survival. And that's what's happening, really. Ukraine is not fighting to retain any sort of territory, contrary to what Russians might want you to think. Ukraine is fighting for its very existence.
And it's quite interesting, or it's good to have someone who has experienced the whole process, because we report on it on a daily basis or on a regular basis. And maybe just to go on, you being a weekly host of the international program, which is a Ukrainian TV, and you also the director of the Eurasia Democracy Initiative, the New York KF. Can you talk to us more on that?
Yes, well, for the last 3 years, I've been, in a studio, as your colleague, essentially, but in Ukraine, broadcasting daily, not just in Ukrainian, but also giving frequent interviews to major media such as Al Jazeera, Al Jazeera Arabic, English, BBC World News, CNN, like a daily basis, talking about Ukraine, because obviously Ukraine's been thrust into this, center of world's attention. And yet this attention has sort of wavered, in the last couple of years. People just kind of forget, they move on, they think about something else. And my message is very simple. I mean, this is the conflict of our generation. It's not about, once again, some territory in some remote country. It's about a vision of what world we want to live in. Now with the new election in the United States, I will be honest with you, it's become a bit more confusing. We don't know anymore which side the United States is on, right? And all of a sudden, U.S. continued support of Ukraine is in doubt. But what is not in doubt in my mind is that Ukraine is fighting for freedom, as maybe banal as that, or cheesy even as that, term or sounds now that we're living in these cynical times. It's the right. We're fighting for the right to choose our own government, to have free and fair elections, something that Russia hasn't had since Putin came to power. And this is something that I think will find reception in a country like Namibia, which is actually a democracy. So Ukraine and Namibia, politically at least, are probably much closer. Much more closely, related and more, like-minded than Russia, which is trying to propose a very different style of government, that of authoritarianism.
Of course. You said 40 countries.
Yes.
In 5 months.
Oh, no, in a year. I've already been on the road. And I visited Papua New Guinea, Australia, South Pacific. Here I visited South Africa, Lesotho, your country, Botswana, and then I'm going to try to go up all the way through to Ethiopia by land.
By land?
Yeah, all by land. No cheating, no airplanes, nothing. Just, crossing borders with locals, taking buses.
Of course.
If I have to.
Any challenges you have experienced so far?
This is a relatively, prosperous, peaceful part of the African continent. So far we've been very lucky. My partner and I, we've been very lucky to have a very hospitable reception. So it's been so good. So far so good.
Of course. So what do you make of the relationship between Russia and Ukraine? Is there any opportunity for reconciliation?
Well, the opportunity is we'll probably have to wait for Vladimir Putin to go to die. I mean, and that's one and the same. I don't see him retiring. He's in power until he probably dies, and then, and it's not a guarantee, but after his death, I think we may have a chance at reconciliation and peace. Because right now, Vladimir Putin's whole life, he's staked his life, his political life, his biological life on the outcome in Ukraine, and he's obsessed with Ukraine. He's obsessed with destroying its sovereignty and controlling it. So right now, our goals, Ukraine's goal of survival and Putin's goal of control of Ukraine, are not compatible. No matter Donald Trump's peace efforts, you remember during the campaign he promised to resolve this conflict in 24 hours, and it's been we're nearing a 100-day mark of his presidency, and we're nowhere near an agreement, unfortunately.
And just President Trump, now that you mentioned him, still trying to bring two countries together. How do you see this panning out? I know you mentioned it now, but perhaps you can just get into that again.
Donald Trump once again will have to have a steep learning curve about the nature of the conflict. It is too simplistic to say that you can just give away this land, that land, and it will get solved. I mean, we have to commend the American president for his effort to bring this war to an end. But unfortunately, so far, what we've seen, he's actually negotiated in a very Russia kind of in a fashion partial to the Russian position, unfortunately, which kind of breeds suspicion on the part of Ukrainians that he's not being a fair kind of arbiter in this game. He seems to like Vladimir Putin. He doesn't care about his way of rule. He probably wants to see some of it in the U.S. He's now hoping to do a military parade for his 79th birthday in Washington, something unheard of for an American democracy. But we're living, like I said, in these very turbulent, cynical, and weird times where we don't even any longer know if U.S. is our ally or not. My hope is that my hope is that Congress will reassert its authority, because I think and I believe that the majority of Americans are still very much on the side of Ukraine and democracy.
Of course. By the end of your journey, what do you intend to achieve in terms of the impact you will make with engagements that you will be having?
Well, once again, I hope to have drawn attention of the population of people. It's kind of a goodwill mission to just meet local folks. I'm under no illusion that I will be, shifting governmental positions, etc. But I mean, by these efforts, one by one, if we have enough people fanning out across the globe to talk about, Ukraine, it will make a difference. Because on the other side, Russia is spending millions of dollars on its propaganda, and we have to. If not match, then we also have to make an effort to promote our narratives.
Thank you. Thank you for being on.
I just wanted to leave you with a memento. And this is Ukrainian flag and Ukrainian symbol. A little something for you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on Namibia Connect, and all the best with your wife as well. We send greetings.
Thank you.
All right. Of course, that was Peter Zalmayev, a Ukrainian-American political expert and TV host who is on a worldwide mission. We'll be back after this short break.